I would also like to introduce the panel for today's debate. We have the chair of the panel, Beth James. Then we have Juraj Špilda, Matej Pilat, John Wickham, and on the other side, Honza Tulis, and Andrzej Tuškej. The timekeeper for today's debate will be Tamara Augustimirova, and there will be a clap after the first minute, and a clap after the 7th minute, 2 claps after the end. The motion for today's debate is: this House believes that developed countries have a moral duty to open their borders to immigrants from developing countries. And after we got that out of the way, I would like to invite the first speaker of the proposition side, Hannah. The floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, we believe that all humans are equal, and therefore all humans should have the right for equal opportunities in their life. The motion of today's debate is itself about morality, which is about doing the right thing in the face of unfairness. This doing of the right thing can sometimes be difficult, can sometimes be hard, but it is this doing that contributes to this equality and to the opportunities of each and every single person in our world. Unfortunately, that is not what the situation in the world now looks like. There are people in developed countries living in opulence, while the same people in developing countries are dying of hunger. Ladies and gentlemen, we think that that is not only unfair, but absolutely morally wrong. In this debate, the affirmative team will explain to you why we believe that it is the duty of developed countries to open their borders to immigrants from developing countries and so offer them the opportunity to have a better life. Before we proceed to why we think and what are the arguments, let me take a few seconds to explain how this model would work in a second. It is important to point out that open borders do of course not mean absolutely open borders, but would include certain security checks as to prevent terrorists or other criminals from entering. And our model will also include a certain integration program that these immigrants, depending on their language skills and ability to integrate, would be required to attend. Yes, sir.
Madam, tell me why a developed country like Japan, struggling with an earthquake, or a developed country like Spain, struggling with debt, still has a moral obligation to accept an excess of immigrants that will obviously be extremely detrimental to them.
Thank you, sir. It is first of all for the sole reason of morality. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe that all humans have the right to be equal, and that is not that way in this world. And we believe that this morality is what means that it is the duty of people that are better off to help those that are worse off. I will first explain in my first argument this duty through morality and fairness in the form of moral principles. Then I will elaborate on the practical side of the debate of the motion, which talks about immigrants and why opening our borders to these people is the correct form of helping them. And after that, the second speaker of the proposition will talk about besides these general moral principles that all countries should respect, these developed countries have a specific duty to developing countries because of both historical and present-day, no thank you sir, injustice and exploitation. So first of all, we believe that moral principles tell us that we have a moral duty to help those in need. What is this moral duty? Morality, ladies and gentlemen, is a certain, no thank you sir, unwritten code of conduct, unwritten code of behavior that we in the 21st century abide by and that is vital for human life. And just like our own rational thinking, this morality tells us that all humans have a right for certain innate rights, such as the right to live, the right to be free, the right to have the opportunity of living a decent life, the right to have the opportunity of being able to support your family. And we believe that no thank you sir, that if to achieve these basic rights, a human considers the best opportunity he has and the best option he has to move to a certain country and to work and live there, he has the right of doing so. Why, ladies and gentlemen? You do not influence, and you cannot in any way choose where you are born. And that should therefore not be the determining factor in what your
Madam.
whole life looks like. No, thank you, sir. These immigrants were born into developing countries, and they were born there not by their own decision. And if they are willing to change their lives, if they are willing to have a better life, which these immigrants are because these are people that have left their homes, they should have the right for this better life. People in developed countries like to think about their own lives and their own wealth. But the truth is, ladies and gentlemen, that there are millions out there dying of hunger.
Madam.
Millions who are not able to get through each day, who are not able to feed their children, and children that have to work ever since they are small, because they do not, no thank you sir, have the sufficient amount of resources that is possible for them to have. Ladies and gentlemen, countries in the modern world partially understand this moral duty. Countries provide social support to those that are worse off inside of a country. We only need to realize that this counts globally. We are all human beings, not just those of us inside a given country. And we have the moral duty to help those that are worse off, which in this case is helping developing countries by opening our borders
Madam?
to their immigrants and providing them the opportunity of having a better life. Yes, sir.
We don't think you're solving inequality because you're taking the best and the brightest from the developing world to the developed world.
Thank you for that point of information, sir, because it leads me to our second argument, so let us proceed to that. Now that we understand that we do have a moral duty to help those in need, let's explain why this form of help, of opening our borders, is the best way. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, immigrants are a specific group of people. It is not only our moral duty to help them because they are in need, but these are people that are determined to change their lives. They have left their homes, the places they grew up in, their parents, their grandparents came from, which is an extremely difficult thing to do, to have a better life. And because they did this, this shows two things. First of all, what a bad life they must have had, which again comes back to the fact that yes, we do need to help these
Madam.
people by providing them better opportunities. No, thank you, sir. And second of all, how determined they are to change their lives, which brings us to the point how much we can help them. Ladies and gentlemen, these extremely poor people are often stuck in the so-called vicious circles of poverty, where the only
Madam.
thing they can think of are their basic needs, how they will get through each and every day, and there is no chance of them thinking of the future, thinking of investment, and thinking of having a better life for their children. We can help these people more than we may think, because what is a small amount of money for us is a large amount of money for them. The moment their basic necessities are covered, they can think about the future. And these determined individuals are perfectly able of doing that. While most first-generation immigrants usually have low-level jobs, their children are better off, and their children's children even more so. Let's illustrate this on the example of Mexicans living in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, according to The Economist, the amount of immigrants between 21 and 25 years old that attend school or college triples from the first to the second
Madam.
generation. Besides that, 72% of the third generation of immigrants can speak no other language than English. They are fully able to integrate into society, which again shows how much we can help these people that do not have the opportunity of having a decent life without our help. Ladies and gentlemen, some may argue that there are other ways or better ways of helping, but let's compare humanitarian help or aid to our form. First of all, we don't know where this money, when we send humanitarian aid, will end up, because we are not sending it to individuals, we are sending it to the general public, which means that it often gets into the hands of corrupt government officials, such as in Ethiopia, for example, where they purchased guns and weapons for famine aid. And second of all, this is a much more direct way of help. This help means that the money that these people need get into the hands of the individuals that need them, of the individuals that deserve them. And besides that, it is even a much more direct way of helping the original countries, because these people send the money back home in the form of remittances. These remittances amount to a large part of the money these developing countries get. $40 billion are sent from the United States each year. And in 2006, the global foreign remittances amounted to $300 billion, which was triple than FDI, triple than humanitarian aid. Ladies and gentlemen, these immigrants are also able to help those back at home, and for all of these reasons, because it is our duty to help people that need them, and because this is a good form of help, And because these people need our help and should have the right to get equal opportunities, we believe that it is definitely the moral duty of developed countries to open their borders to developing countries. Thank you.